Hello, and today I've got a bit of a chat. We'll also be having a pipe and reviewing a whiskey that is new to me. This is the first time I'm going to be trying this. It's Early Time American Whiskey. So, pull up a seat, get yourself a drink, fill up a bowl if you're that way inclined, and welcome to the Tainted Tavern. Okay, as I said, tonight I'm going to be smoking Peterson's Nightcap, which is the current version of what was once known as Dunhill's Nightcap. When Dunhill stopped producing tobacco, a lot of other companies stepped in to keep these well-loved blends available for pipe smokers everywhere. Peterson, of course, took over several Dunhill's recipes. Nightcap, Early Morning Pipe, several others. So these days these are produced under the Peterson name, but it's basically the same tobacco as it's always been. So let's pop this tin open a minute and get out the old Swiss Army knife. There we are. The seal broke immediately there. So we've got a nice usual packaging for the Peterson material. This is an interesting whiskey. I saw this today in Tesco's. It was on a club card offer. I think it's a recommended retail for this about £28. I got it on club card for £20. I've never seen this one before. Now it's billed as Early Times Aged in Oak American Whiskey. It comes in at 40%, so that's 80 proof. And yeah, it's billed as an American whiskey rather than a bourbon. But a little bit of research has told me that this is, to all extents and purposes, a bourbon. Though it has to be called American whiskey, it can't use the word bourbon because it may have a mash bill which complies to the laws on what can and what can't be a bourbon. So in other words, it's 51% corn in the recipe. So to that extent it is a bourbon. However, bourbon must be aged in new virgin oak, charred oak. This is aged in virgin oak, but it's also as another maturation, sometimes in previously used barrels, so therefore it can't be called a bourbon. But I am reliably informed, on the research I've done on this, that it is to all extents and purposes a bourbon. The side tells us it's a lovely old style bottle. The side tells us this was originally created, in 1860 by John Henry Jack Beam. Yes, that's John Henry Jack Beam of the Beam family. Jim Beam, of course. Early Times grew up during the early days of the country when most of the America was still rural. The name Early Times was chosen as a tribute to the old-fashioned method of making whiskey, which included mashing grain in small tubs and distilling the whiskey in copper stills over open fires. Early Times is a blend of American 51% and Canadian 49% whiskey, carefully crafted to create deep, smooth and mellow taste to be enjoyed mixed on these. So that's another reason that this has to be billed as an American whiskey rather than a bourbon, because it also contains Canadian whiskey, so it's something of a mix. I was led to believe that it was going to be a bourbon, so perhaps it's not. As you say, I haven't cracked it open yet, so perhaps the information I received was not true. So anyway, let's fill up the pipe, and I've got some things to talk about. Earlier today I went down to Porthcawl to the High Tide to meet a gentleman called Peter Phillips. Peter is the founder and the organizer of the Porthcawl Elvis Festival. I went down to interview him because of my forthcoming book, which I'll be revealing the title of and also giving it a cover reveal before too much longer. But it's my book that's coming out next year from Pen and Sword Books. I have mentioned it before on this channel. So I went down to interview Peter, and we had a pretty good interview. I got myself in. I was driving, so I had half a pint of I think it was Beamish. It was quite nice anyway. So let's get the pipe filled. We're going to be smoking a corncob here from Missouri Meerschaum. I believe this shape is the Country Gentleman. At least I think it is. So I'm just going to feed the tobacco into the bowl here. And yeah, I learned a lot about the Elvis Festival, which took me by surprise. I mean, the festival in the year 2004, when the festival was celebrating its 20th anniversary, the Welsh government estimated that it brought 6 million into the local economy during the 3 days of the Elvis weekend. So you think the council would be, you know, all over it. They'd be helping to promote it, helping to finance it, but that's not the case. And several times the councils have basically made it very difficult for the organisers year after year after year. The police is another thing, you know. They are not that happy on the festival, and they try and charge the organisers the way that it's done in football games over here, you know, where you have to pay for the extra police. But again, you know, as I say, it brings in a lot of money into the local economy. It's the largest Elvis festival in Europe, and I believe I'm correct in saying that outside it meant the largest in the world. So I managed to, as I say, we had a great interview, and I'm going to get a lot of behind-the-scenes access to this year's festival, including access to the green room and talking to several of the performers, the tribute artists. Apparently learned today that they don't like being called Elvis impersonators, they prefer tribute artists. So, I mean, they'll all be briefed beforehand who I am, what my project is, and if they want to speak to me, then that's fine. If they don't have to. But that should, not only will it provide a lot of insight for my book, but I'll get some nice photographic opportunities there, but it also may make a good video behind the scenes of the Porthcawl Elvis Festival to show exactly what goes into such a massive event, which brings, I mean, Porthcawl is a small South Wales seaside resort. The Elvis weekend brings in between 40 and 50,000 people into the area, so it's quite a big thing. So I'll be talking about that. This year's festival is not until September, so you know, I'll be presenting a video once I've attended. Okay, so I've got the pipe filled now. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to pour myself a glass of this Early Times, as always, because this is an initial tasting. I'm going to be consuming it in the Penderyn. I keep calling this the Penderyn glass because it's branded Penderyn. It is a branded Penderyn, but the shape of this glass is a Glencairn. It's not the first time I've made that mistake. I think of this as my Penderyn glass because I collect whiskey glasses that are branded, and this one happens to be branded Penderyn. But so it's a Glencairn glass. Branded Penderyn. Penderyn, of course, is a very good Welsh whiskey. Once we've taken it totally neat in the Glencairn, I'll be giving it the addition of a little water to break it up and see what differences that makes to it. And then I'll try it over the rocks. So, this whiskey that I erroneously said is more or less a bourbon, when the fact it contains Canadian whiskey as well as American whiskey makes it nothing like a bourbon. So, let's get my bowl alight and we'll chat. Okay, let's examine the whiskey first, the colour. Now, held up to the light, it's a lovely light, I would say light amber, copper. The legs on it are average, so I mean it's a 40%, they're 80 proof. The nose, you can get an alcohol there, ethanol. Primarily ethanol at the moment. We get that tasted in a moment. Let me just light up my pipe. A charring light there. I do like these corncob pipes. I've spoken of them many times in the past, and they really are good quality pipes. Nice rich English tobacco taste. Nightcap is it's like the big brother to early morning pipe. Both were of course one time produced by Dunhill. Both are English blends, but Nightcap is that much more potent. Both in terms of taste, it's a lot richer in taste, and in terms of nicotine content, it's a lot. Good thing about this corncob pipe, because of the shape, you can just sit it down like that. Right, let's get the whiskey tasted. They say I'm still getting that ethanol. It's it's a burn on the end of this. There's no age statement on here, of course. American whiskey is a category that you know, I don't know that much about. When I think of American whiskey, it leads me to bourbon. Although America do make a lot of single malts these days, but it's not a single malt. So it's a blended whiskey, a mixture of 51% American and 49% Canadian. So I'd also have to look up the exact rulings of what's a Canadian whiskey. Nice to see Canada and America working in tandem for a change, though. I think there's something of a treacleness to it. Its first taste, it wasn't, and your legs also have improved now that it's had time to sit in the glass. They are really slowly running down the side of that glass. It's quite smooth. It's not bad at all. Let's add a little bit of water, not much, just a cupful. Or half a cupful, just to break it up a bit, because I've said in numerous videos that the addition of a little water to whiskey allows it's almost like a jailbreak, where the ethanol tends to trap a lot of flavours into the whiskies. The addition of water improves it down slightly, but all of a sudden it allows those flavours to come rushing up. So let's give that a moment to do its thing. Let's go back to Elvis Presley a moment. I bought another vinyl today. Elvis Presley B-sides. Rather happy with this vinyl. It wasn't expensive. I think I paid £25 for this. Elvis Presley B-sides hits 1955 to 1962. So this are the B-sides of Elvis's singles. On the back, the running order, there's 12 tracks on side A and 12 tracks on side 2. Of course, on the B-side, Elvis songs tend to be always less than 3 minutes. That's an interesting thing. Is there an Elvis song that lasts longer than 3 minutes? If there is, it's going to be something like American Trilogy, which is the sequence of songs worked in together. But as I say, most of these songs come in at 2:16, 2:24. So the running order is Baby Let's Play Out. And it very helpfully tells us that it's the B-side to I'm Left, You're Right, She's Gone. We got Mystery Train, I Was the One, My Baby Left Me, Anyway You Want Me, That's How It Will Be. Playing for Keeps, Treat Me Nice, That's When Your Heartache Begins. Loving You, I Beg of You, Don't You Think It's Time, Don't Ask Me Why. Side 2 then is I Got Stung, My Wish Came True, I Need Your Love Tonight, Fame and Fortune, A Mess of Blues, Gotta Know, Lonely Man, Little Sister, Wild in the Country, Rock-a-Hula Baby, Just Tell Her Jim Said Hello, and Anything That's Part of You. Another thing which was a surprise, I didn't know until I got this home and opened it, is it's actually coloured vinyl. It's kind of a grey marble effect on the vinyl. I know it's not it's not that doesn't make a difference to the quality or lack of quality, if it may be the case, of the music inside. I just do like colour vinyl. But what was also nice was you get a little inlay slip, so it tells you what each song was the B-side to, and it also shows a picture of the original single that it was taken off. So we mentioned Playing for Keeps, which was the B-side to Too Much. One I wanted to bring attention to was, where we to? Bear with me one moment. Oh, That's When Your Heartache Begins, which was the B-side to the single All Shook Up. That's Where Your Heartache Begins is interesting, because when Elvis walked into Sun Records, or as it was known then, the Memphis Recording Studio, and paid famously to record a record, an acetate record, which he claimed was for his mother's birthday, although there's a bit of I think he wasn't telling the truth there. I think he was so nervous that he used it's for my mother's birthday as an excuse, because I think he was slightly embarrassed that he wanted to record a record, because he was at the stage where he was starting to think that maybe there could be something in this singing malarkey. But anyway, he recorded My Happiness, and on the flip side he recorded this song, That's When Your Heartache Begins, and that's available on YouTube, the original recording that Elvis paid for, thanks to Jack White of the White Stripes. He purchased the record, the original acetate, at auction. I can't give an exact price offhand. There's quite a few $100s. And he made it available for Record Store Day many years back. And anyway, it's available online, and it's fascinating to hear because of the nervousness in the young Elvis's voice. He's 18 years old at that time. But this version of That's Where Your Heartache Begins on You is actually a professional recording done later, and it's interesting to compare the two. Anyway, we've talked enough now about Elvis. Mind you, can never talk enough about Elvis, as I'm finding out with all the research I'm doing. Yeah, Nightcap is a very, very tasty English-style blend. It's fantastic tobacco. I've got to taste the whiskey again, but I don't want to take the pipe out of my mouth at the moment. I do like Dunhill Nightcap, Peterson's Nightcap, as it is now. This is the type of tobacco that especially appeals to me because I am a latakier, and I love latakier tobacco, and the latakier is very much forward in this. Comes in a ribbon cut, packs really well in the pipe, burns wonderfully. But let's go back to the early times before it gets too late, and take a sip of the whiskey now, with the addition of a little water, and see what difference that makes. Okay, so with the addition of a little water, right away that ethanol punchiness of the aroma has gone. Maybe a little bit of fruit now. It's amazing what the flavours you can pull out of a whiskey. You know, there's no fruit in you. Now I'm getting that biscuity kind of caramelliness that you get from bourbon type whiskies. She has a sweetness there. It's rather dry as well, zingy on the tongue. That's pretty. It's a decent whiskey. You're getting a litre bottle here for what they say the recommended retail price of about £28. You're getting a litre there, that's not bad. And on a club card offer, which I got it today, £20 for a litre, that's a bargain. As I say, this whiskey was established in 1860. This was first distilled, so it's got quite a pedigree behind it. I also do think that's a very attractive bottle. Looks nice in the whiskey cabinet. Looks retro, doesn't it? So yeah, that's good. Now we're going to take another sip of that, and then I'm going to add some ice to this just to see what it does over the rocks. It's a dry whiskey, a lot drier than many whiskies. It's got that dry, tangy kind of ness to it. There's some fruit, though I can't particularly identify the fruit. It's a nice whiskey though, and the legs are decent. Initially, it didn't seem like there was much consistency to it, but the legs are pretty decent, and the aroma, especially with the addition of the water is really quite refreshing. And I'm going to pop a couple of ice cubes in here, and let's see what that does to it. Let's go back to the pipe for a moment. So I say this is a real proper traditional English style blend. No toppings of any kind. It's a natural tobacco taste. Very much Latakia. Pulling your Virginia along behind it for the ride, so you are getting a slight natural sweetness of the Virginia. But predominantly it's the Latakia. The Latakia dominates in this blend. Very, very, very nice tobacco. I'm so glad that these tobaccos continued after Dunhill got out of the tobacco business. We've lost so many iconic tobacco blends, it would have been a shame to lose this. Very smoky. Just the sort of tobacco to sit around a campfire on a warm summer's evening. Every time I say that phrase, on a warm summer's evening, I get the tune to The Gambler in my head. On a warm summer's evening, I met up with the gambler. Okay, I can't sing. I never pretended I could. Perfect camping tobacco. Sat outside at the end of a long productive day, wandering the woodlands. You've made your camp, you've set your little fire, you've got your tent up, you sat back on a lovely warm night, the stars are twinkling in the sky, and you sat there smoking a bowl of this Nightcap. There's nothing finer in the world. Maybe an empty flask of good quality whiskey, perhaps Early Times, nothing finer. Okay, so the ice now has done its thing. The glass is nice and chilled, so we'll finish off this video with the final taste of this whiskey. But what I would like to ask you, my viewers, and if you leave comments below to tell me, you may notice the way I've been jiggling things around lately on this channel and changing the format of the videos slightly. I did initially have a theme song which went, "Welcome to the Tainted Tavern, come sit there a while for free," which I thought was really cool. But what I did, I've still got the "Welcome to the Tainted Tavern" piece. I've made the little intros a lot shorter, and the end of the videos are equally short. So I don't know, is that a better way of going forward? I've also stopped using so much music in the body of the actual videos itself. My recent video, which is part of a series called Drunken Rambles, in which I go for long country walks and talk about interests and aspects of wherever I am, that's done really well, so I'll be filming another one of those this weekend. They will keep the bigger intro, because these are, I don't want to say they're my premium videos, because I take the videos I'm doing here quite seriously too. They just take a lot more planning, and the narration is added afterwards. Recorded over the footage that I filmed, so they take a lot longer, because I actually have to sit down and write the script. So you know, they are going to keep the intro, but the pipe videos, the Elvis videos, the stuff where I'm just sitting down talking straight to camera, although I've thought about a lot of what I'm going to say, it comes off the cuff, especially when I'm trying a whiskey I've never tried before. As I opened this on camera for the first time, so I didn't know what to expect. And you can see that because I was making mistakes, because I checked online and was repeating what I'd read online, that this is, in all accounts, a bourbon. Only can't be called a bourbon because it's not solely aged in virgin American oak casks which have been charred. That turned out not to be the case. This contains Canadian whiskey as well as American whiskey. That's why it can't be called a bourbon. So, you know, but that comes straight off. Let me know what you think about this channel and the way things are developing, because, I mean, I'm up on 790 odd subscribers now in about 18 months, so that's pretty good. Next milestone will be 1,000 subscribers. So there are 790 odd souls now in the tavern, and I appreciate each and every one of you being here. Okay, what has the ice done to the whiskey? Now that's beautiful. This is the way I would drink this whiskey. This is not an high-end whiskey. It's a decent whiskey. It's certainly not rubbish, but it's not a high-end whiskey. So this is something I could sip quite happily of an evening over the rocks with a nice bowl of tobacco, perhaps Peterson's Nightcap. Anyway, thanks for watching. That's all for now. Cheers, yaki da, and see you soon. And please leave a comment below. Don't forget, if you haven't done so already, then please subscribe. This channel is free. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps the channel grow. And also, give this video a thumbs up and tell all your friends about the Tainted Tavern. Everyone's welcome. Bye.